Hello guys, this is Movie Lover and welcome to this Movie Lover world. Today we recap a film called Obsession. The movie begins in the middle of the night. A man by the name of Sonny grabs a woman, her name is Larissa. He is jealous that she keeps being with her husband and reminds her that soon they are going to get rid of him. He then takes her inside a cabin to make love to her. We then jump back in the past. Sonny takes a long bus ride to a city because he was promised a job but is sad to learn they are not hiring anymore. That night he decided to sleep on the street when near him an old man gets attacked, so Sonny saves him from the aggressor, the old man whose name is George thanks the young man for saving him. A little later his young wife, Larissa, comes running to him and he introduces his savior Sonny to her. That same night George brings Sonny home to offer his a nice warm meal. Over the food he then offers him a job on the property and room as well. Sonny is so happy and relieved. Meanwhile, Larissa warns her husband that they don't know anything about that man, but George just wanna help this poor man. The next day Sonny starts working at the property in mechanics. Days go by and Larissa and Sonny keep locking eye contacts from time to time. One day she comes to him and tells him, "If you want to keep staying you have to stop looking at me the way you do." He then asks her why did she marry that old man, a woman that looks like her. She leaves, but before that he confronts her, saying that she has been looking at him the same way he does. One night over dinner George offers Sonny some alcohol and he goes to the kitchen to grab some glasses. In there he finds Larissa. In the tension between both becomes irresistible. He then touches her all over while George is in the living room. Later that night she can't sleep and thinks about him. Sonny gets an idea. The next day, in order to get George out of the house, he tells him he finally found a car piece he has been looking for. Sir George hurries out of the house. Larissa wonders how long he will be gone and Sonny answers that about 3 hours. The tension becomes too strong and she throws at him. Both then make love. Later when George comes back she feels bad, but he is so happy that his prize car finally works that he takes it for a ride. Sonny takes this opportunity to tell Larissa to be careful to stop acting different, otherwise he will suspect something. But she tells him there won't be next time, never again. George then comes back and announces to Larissa that this car is her gift. That same night the three have a little drink. George ends up drunk and falls asleep on the couch. Sonny takes this opportunity to make love to Larissa in their bedroom. After it Larissa tells him how she hates it sneaking around cheating. Sonny asks her again why did she marry George. She finally answers that she met him at a hotel when she was working as a maid. She was broke, barely spoke English, and loved living with him. Sonny asks her if she would leave George, but she tried it already and hated it because she is poor. She tells him, "If I had money I would leave him to be with you." The next day George comes to Sonny and tells him, "Come with me." He drives him to a land and announces he will build a motorsport park here later. That day Sonny brings Larissa there and shows the land to her. She is excited and tells him this may be all we ever wanted. But he is confused, he doesn't understand. He responds that's George's plan. "How are we supposed to get him out of it?" She replies, "Exactly how do we get him out of it?" Sonny realizes she is talking about killing him and he is shocked. Not only she wants to take his life but also his dream away. But she tells him it is too late. She had this plan from before he came along. That same night Sonny is having nightmares because he is not a killer, he is not a bad guy. The next day the excited George shows Larissa the replica of what his theme park will look like. That same night we go to the scene from the beginning of the film and Sonny makes love to her aggressively. Days later construction on the theme park begins and Sonny has to leave because his sister is sick. But in reality he goes to a motel where Larissa meets him to make love. They then start planning on how will they kill him without any trace coming back to them. Sonny then gets an idea. He proposes an accident. The next day he shows her his idea, a machine falling down on a watermelon which represents where George will be. But he tells her she will need to pull the trigger as he will be down there with George to put him in position. The days that follow Sonny is still having nightmares. The big day then finally arrives and as planned he finds an excuse to put George in the exact position he needs him to be. Larissa arrives and pulls the trigger. It kills George, but Sonny's hand gets stuck. In the process he tells her to leave because she was never supposed to be here. She drives away and get rid of her bloody shoes while Sonny calls. Minutes later Larissa gets a call from the police and she arrives at the house. pretending to be sad to find out George is dead. Detective Crawford comforts her that same night Sunny comes back home. Meanwhile, Crawford feels something is fishy in this story. He found the dirty shoes she had on very weird and tells his coworker that it's like she ditched the shoes because of the blood on them. He is pretty quick on them. Meanwhile, Sunny forces Larissa to go search for those shoes as she just threw them while driving. Larissa then regrets, saying maybe they shouldn't have done it, but Sunny gets mad, telling her that's what she wanted, so we keep going with it. They then find both shoes and burn them. The next day Crawford comes to visit Sunny. He asks him few questions and leaves. Seconds later Larissa appears to talk to him. She worries and Crawford is watching them from far with binoculars. More weeks pass and Larissa keeps building George's theme park, which is now hers. One night Crawford calls Sunny asking him to come to the station. Larissa panics. The next day they leave for the station and Crawford uses this opportunity to go in their house. An hour later he comes to the station and tells Sunny that he is not buying that what happened to George was an accident. He shows him that the medical exam showed that the tractor fell on George twice, as well as a video of Crawford finding out you can make the tractor fall by pulling a trigger. Crawford let him go for now but pressure him, saying once I find out it's you, I'm coming for you. We then show what really happened that day. The tractor actually didn't kill George at first, so Larissa pulled it a second time. Back at home Larissa panics by Sunny reassures her Crawford doesn't have evidences, just theories. She then asks him, are you going to turn on me? He screams at her that no. Crawford then calls asking Larissa to come to the station tomorrow. She panics but then reveals to Sunny that she is pregnant with his baby. Later that night he is in his thoughts, and the next day he decides to go to the police station and confesses them everything but lying about Larissa's involvement. He did it to protect the now mother of his future child. Meanwhile Larissa wakes up with a letter by her bed. He explains to her what he has done. He knew what he had to do the moment she told him she was pregnant. He tells her to throw the phone and to never contact him, that one day when he is settled he will find a way to find out how she and their son is doing. He repeats that when he told her he loved her he meant it. Years later, Larissa sent another letter to Sunny, informing them on how their boy is doing. He has now many pictures of his son on the wall. Both keep exchanging letters. We are then shown Larissa running a successful theme park. Unfortunately she is being unfaithful to Sunny. She keeps playing this game so he doesn't suspect her relationship, and we are shown that her man is actually the same man who attacked George when Sunny saved him. She was already trying to take his life away from way back. We also realize that the pictures she has been sending him of their son are actually false. The kid on the picture is the son of one of her employees that she has been sending him pretending to be their son. She actually never kept the baby. The movie ends with the evil Larissa looking over her theme park while Sunny carries a picture of his fake son in his hands on his way to being executed. Thanks for watching. Movie Lover will meet you again with new story. Till take care.